Hi everyone! For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chelsea Gaglio and I'm a speech-language pathologist. Today I'm recording a video on core vocabulary, and I'm just going to really be talking about the basics, about what core vocabulary is, why we use it, and how we can teach it to our little ones. Before I get started, I do want to mention this is more of a parent training video, so I'm not actually doing any therapy activities in this one. But it is still important because videos in the weeks to come will have activities that include core vocabulary words, and I just want you all to have an understanding of what it is. So this video would be most appropriate for the parents of children who are nonverbal, of parents of children who are minimally verbal, so maybe they're just using one word or two words, so really just starting to talk. And it would also be great for the parents of children who use AAC devices and PECS or picture communication. So, core vocabulary, what is it? And I know you've all heard me. If you're one of my families, you definitely have heard about core vocabulary. But it's one of those buzzwords, and I don't think a lot of people know what it is. So, what is core vocabulary? Core vocabulary words are just general, high frequency, really functional words. They're usually adjectives, verbs, and pronouns. We don't typically see nouns for core vocabulary words. And so some examples of them are words like want, more, help, all done, go, in, out, like, see, on, off. I'm pulling from memory. I think I did pretty good there. There are a ton. There's a bunch more, but those are the ones I know off the top of my head right now. And those are the ones we use really frequently with our preschoolers. Those are some of the first ones we teach. So believe it or not, core vocabulary words actually make up between 80 and 90% of what we say. So in other words, core vocabulary words make up the majority of what we say. So I can't stress it enough, core vocabulary is so important. And the main reason for that is because we call it the building block to communication. And what that means is it helps our kids use language for a variety of communicative intents. It's a lot of fancy lingo. I'm going to break it down really simple for you all. So I want you to think about when your child first started talking. If your child's nonverbal and you've been working on signing and whatnot, you definitely know this too. So what do? We usually find something that is of high interest to the child. So a lot of times it's a snack or a treat. Sometimes it's a preferred toy. So in this instance, let's just say it's goldfish crackers. So we see that our child really likes goldfish crackers, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to withhold it, right? We're not going to let them have free access to it. And, you know, the child's going to come over and maybe reach for the goldfish or make a sound or point and indicate that they want goldfish. And usually we say, oh, you want the goldfish. Okay, can you show me more? And the child will catch on to that and they'll start signing more. We also might say, oh, you want goldfish? And the child might sign want. And over time, we're using more for everything and we're using want, and it's great. We're excited. We're celebrating that the child is communicating. Eventually, we might see that utterance expand a little into want goldfish or more goldfish, or I want goldfish, or I want more goldfish. That is great. I'm not downplaying that at all. That is exactly what we want. We want our kids to be speaking in longer utterances. But it's important to remember we don't want our children to only be communicating for one intent. So that intent, you know, want and more, is requesting. They're requesting the goldfish. And we don't want our kids to only use language to communicate, right? We want them to be able to make comments and report information and ask questions and share their thoughts and their feelings and their ideas. And core vocabulary allows us to do that, because words like and see, so if we're saying like goldfish or see goldfish, that's a comment. We're not the child isn't requesting it, they're telling you that they like it, and that's great. That's what we want to see. We want to see them using language for a variety of communicative intents. So I do want to mention There are other types of vocabulary words, and if you are a parent of a child who uses an AAC device, you've probably heard these words more frequently, and those are words, fringe vocabulary words and personal vocabulary words. And fringe vocabulary, basically, they're just words with more of a narrow meaning. So where the core vocabulary words can be used a variety of different ways, fringe can usually only be used one way, and they're typically nouns. So an example, I gave the goldfish example before, that would be a fringe vocabulary word. Personal vocabulary words would be like names of people in the child's life, things like that. So they are equally as important, but we don't use them as frequently. So that is the basics of core vocabulary. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I tried to talk quickly. I didn't want to bore you all. So like I said, be on the lookout for the individual core vocabulary videos that I'll be posting weekly. I think the first one I'll probably do is probably going to be want or more, like the examples I just gave, and then I'll move on to help and all done, because those are the other two that I drew. My family's watching, you know those are my favorite four. But yeah, I'll be teaching you the sign language for them, the symbol that you should be using, and then a bunch of activities and ideas to help use it at home. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.